Okay, we're live. Good morning, everyone. Oh, good afternoon. It's 12, past 12, so it's afternoon. And nice to have you all here. I'm excited to see this lovely faces. It's been a while that we all came together to have a session, so it's beautiful to see you all. Good afternoon to everyone at home, and thanks for joining our live session today. Today we'll be talking about university and supplementary applications. And I have with me, as usual, my LSI amazing ambassadors. Uh, yeah, and before we get to it, I'll just quickly ask that we all please introduce ourselves. And let's take it from Luis.
All right. Hi, my name is Luis. I'm currently in my second year of robotics engineering at McMaster University.
Hi, Luis. How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you, Auntie?
That's good. I'm well, thank you. Fico.
Hi, my name is Suko Labi. I'm currently in grade 12 at Orchard Park Secondary School.
Hello, Fico. Nice to have you here. Naomi.
Hi guys, my name is Naomi. I'm a first year political science and philosophy student at University of Ottawa.
Hi, Naomi. Daniel.
Hi, my name is Daniel. I'm in grade 12, attending Bishop Bryan Catholic Secondary.
Hello, Daniel. And hi, Nifemi.
Hello, good morning, everyone. My name is Nifemi, and I'm a first year medical student at the University of Toronto.
Nice to have you all, and thank you once again for joining. And just before we start the session, Naomi, tell us, it's your first year and your first term in
Yeah,
the university. So how is it going?
it's been good. It's a big adjustment and it's busy, but with the right time management, it works out.
So how have you find coping with the pattern of studying and having to have that freedom of doing whatever you want to do at
Yeah.
whatever time you want to do it? Have you find having to balance everything together?
I mean, at least from like original move-in day, like we had a week before class started, so I got to adjust to the freedom quite quickly, which meant I quickly realized with freedom came responsibility. Just because you're at home by yourself does like you do your own laundry but you also get to go out by yourself, so it's like with pros comes cons. So it just took some adjustment and you have to remain focused and like focused on your drive for what you're there for. Just remember why you're there.
Any shocker? Was there anything
um
that was like, oh my god,
i
I wasn't
think I
expecting
think
this?
for me it was definitely the readings. It was definitely the readings. Oh my gosh, my first year philosophy class, I knew it would be heavier in reading, but I think I do like 80 to 200 pages of reading a week.
Oh, oh,
And
and
that's
how's
one
that?
class out of 5.
Whoa, and how has that been going so far?
I've learned to break it up and schedule when I'm going to read it, but at first it was definitely like, oh, because I think the first class I checked it the night before and I had to read like 120 pages like the night before my 11 a.m. class. But
So what can you say to us that you've learned so far based on what you have gone through in your first half of the first term?
a huge thing is time management for me. Me personally, at the start of the week, I kind of look at what I have to get done for the week, what readings I need to do, and then I kind of plan out when I'm going to do those. And I also take into consideration like, oh, when I'm going to clean my room, when I'm going to do my laundry, when I'm going to be able to cook for the week, stuff like that.
That's good.
Mm.
Nifemi, I know you've been used to the university setting, but I also know that medical school is different entirely. Am I correct?
You're correct.
So tell us about it. How has it been so far?
Yeah, honestly, I agree with Naomi in that like anytime you start something new, it's such a huge adjustment. So for me, I'm a lifelong student. Like I did straight university, then did medical school. So the adjustment hasn't necessarily been, oh, I'm like relearning how to study or anything like that. It's more so getting used to the way medical school is taught and its testing structure. University is a lot more spread out, a lot more content, but it's spread out over a long amount of time. each week, I will say, in medical school is a whole semester's content like that I've done. Like my entire immunology course, we learned it in 1 week. So it's just a lot of content very quickly. So it's been an adjustment in that regard of just like, oh, okay, we're moving, we're moving, we're moving, we're moving.
Wow, that's a lot. So how have you been able to cope so far?
Honestly, with medical school though, there's not really, at least for my school, there's not really many assignments. So that's actually better, I find. And my school has a testing structure where we test every 2 weeks. So really all you really need to focus on is making sure that you understand the content and you're studying the content so that you can apply it for the test and you just understand it for your eventual practice, right? So in that regard, I find that it's been kind of easier. Like I don't have that many due dates to worry about. I don't constantly have to be working on assignments. I can really schedule my time. So again, with like what Naomi said, it's just really time management. Like, what am I going to do today? What am I going to do tomorrow? Like, what's important for me to be able to fully understand this content? And like I said, like coming out of undergrad, I have a lot of those strategies. I'm just reworking them to sort of fit the way medical school is taught. I really feel for the students who've been out of school for a few years. We have some mature students, people who had careers already, people who took a few years before they applied to medical school, and it's much harder to readjust back into studying and everything when you've had that break.
I can imagine. I can imagine. I hope we're not scaring anyone that wants to go to medical school.
Honestly, I will say without the assignments, I honestly feel it's a bit more manageable than undergrad.
Okay, okay. So that's a good point then, or a good part rather. So yes, thank you guys for kind of filling us in on how it's going with medical school and university as well. Moise, are you still working or you right now?
Well, I actually stopped working come September. I still work throughout the summer. At the moment, right now, I'm not working, but I do plan on I should be getting a co-op next summer term. So, yeah. But right now, as of now, no.
Oh, that's good. Do you already have the co-op? Do you already have the
No, I don't have
organization?
it. I don't have it set, but I might be getting something. I have a good feeling. So,
Okay, all the best. Good luck. So
thanks.
yes, so let's get to a topic for today, and that is university and some supplementary application. Now we are in that period. We are in that phase where high school grade 12 and grade 13 students begin to prepare to put everything together and apply to various universities, colleges, against next year admission. Some people would say that when do I begin to apply? What do I need to do to apply? How do I prepare to apply? So that's why we're here today to kind of create that awareness and also put out there information that will be useful to high school students and their parents in regards having to put in an application. So my first question would go out to anyone that's willing to take it on, and that is, when do you begin to prepare to apply for your universities and supplementary applications?
Um,
Wait,
I
yeah,
can
okay,
yeah, I can
go
take this.
ahead.
So
Yeah.
it might be different for like depending on which school you go to, but at least for my school, they kind of helped. They kind of helped out grade 12 students with that a bit. Where I believe it was like pretty early on, like late September, October, we started already looking at the Ontario University Application Center or college as well. We basically did show us the website, show us how it works, and we'd start like basically setting up our applications then, even like just applying. And then like it was just a huge application window time for like next year essentially. Uh, yeah, so this your school may not help you with that, but I believe most of them should. If you have
Okay.
any questions.
So what do you think an average grade 12, grade 13 student should put together to get ready for this process? Because I know that I was doing a little bit of research myself and I found out that the application portal opened about 2 or 3 weeks ago. But I know some people, I've spoken to some students that are saying, I'm not ready to apply yet. I think I want to wait. And I've also seen people saying, you know what, I want to get to it straight away. So, what do you think, or what do you feel would be required of a student to get, to put together to be able to apply to the university or colleges they are interested in?
Well, for my program, I didn't have any supplementary applications, so it's a lot more simple with OUAC. It's basically just your grades. But I know that if you are considering applying this early, that you should consider what your grade 11 final average was, because that's what you would be using to apply. And if you realistically think that your first semester midterm average will be higher, then I would definitely just wait.
Okay.
Mhm.
That's a good that's a very good information, because I've had that conversation about having to apply early or not to apply early. So do you think there's a disadvantage or advantage to applying early?
They OUAC does let you know, like, by what date, like there's something called equal consideration basically. And so as long as you apply before a certain date, and I'm pretty sure it's in like December, January-ish, then you get the same consideration as anyone who applied, whether it's September, December. So it doesn't, I wouldn't put yourself in a rush if you feel unprepared or unready, or if you feel your first semester midterm may be higher than your grade 11 average.
Okay.
Mm.
So also another question that I would put out there to you guys is, so if I am, let's assume I'm a grade 12 or 13 student. Oh, sorry, Nifemi, please go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to jump in. Yeah, and Naomi is very much correct. I just wanted to add in that if you are going to apply to schools that have supplementary programs, typically on OUAC, like the questions will be there like when you start your application. Sometimes they'll have it on their website, like for McMaster Health Sciences, they have it pre thing on their website. So if you are considering a program that does have supplementary applications, I would be checking regularly to see when they upload their questions, or like when you log into OUAC early just to see if they've given the supplementary questions, because that can give you time to prepare. When I applied to university, it was still typed up paragraphs, but I know now a lot of schools have transitioned to videos that are sort of, you get the prompts when you submit the video. They're trying to stop the use of AI and other people submitting essays. But again, I would still prepare like a spreadsheet of major life experiences, extracurriculars you've been involved in and how they impacted you, and do a little bit of reflection so you're in the headspace to answer questions about yourself and your motivations. And you can do that pretty early so you're not like scrambling when it's time to submit the supplementary application.
And with that, you're also preparing to apply for scholarships as well, because you're going to use all that information for sure.
Thank you, Naomi. Daniel.
Yeah, like what Naomi was saying, because I recently spoke to my guidance counselor this week about the same thing. So I was told that university applications end late January, right? But to be considered for equal consideration with people who apply early, you have to apply before December 15th, I was told, which is the deadline. So, uh, and then I was also agreeing with what Naomi said. One thing I've been doing to prepare for supplementary applications is that something called a brag sheet. I say it's very important. I think I've made mine since the summer, and I've keep on adding and updating it. It's like a sheet where you add all your extracurriculars and all activities that you've done throughout your high school and maybe a little bit before high school years, where like it's extracurricular volunteer hours and stuff like that that universities and scholarships would like to hear. And obviously, brackets are very important because like if you're applying for some kind of scholarship and they require reference letters, sometimes giving a brag sheet to the person who is writing a reference letter is very good because it tells them what to say about you and stuff to add that shows that they really understand you, and also like brings light to some of the stuff that you have done, like some of your extracurricular activities and stuff.
Thank you so much, Daniel. That was very, very insightful. So, having to apply for university and supplementary applications is good to begin to do that early. Even if you're not applying immediately, get ready, put together the things that you need. Now, I'm going to take us a little bit back because we don't know who will be listening to this later and is wondering in their head, what exactly is supplementary applications? What are they talking about? So please, can someone explain to us what a supplementary application is? I'll start with Nifemi. We can all, add in as we go on.
Yeah, so basically, with the way university admissions work in Canada, Canada is not like America. America, they often each have to submit a personal statement for each university. In Canada, it's not like that. Typically, they go off grades and typically prerequisite grades for the courses they want you to take, right? But some courses are looking for a certain type of student, or they're trying to nurture a certain type of, they want to ensure that you have the experiences to make sure you're ready for this program. So they will add something to the traditional OUAC application that asks for your grades, your information, et cetera, et cetera. And typically it'd be like an essay prompt, it'd be a submission, and they call it a supplementary application, meaning a supplement to the initial application, or an addendum to the initial application. And it's also considered in their consideration for you entering their school. And for each school, depending on the program, they're trying to look for different things. So maybe they're trying to look for your ability to understand a certain topic, your life experiences, and how they've contributed to your motivations. It's really program dependent. But again, I don't know how widespread they are. It's very specific to the program. And most schools, I believe, don't have supplementary applications.
Thank you so much, Nifemi. Daniel, you wanted to add something? Please go ahead.
Yeah, like I was gonna say, what she pretty much said it all. But it's also very important to do your research, right? To just get prepared, because it's what she said is right. Canada is completely different from the states, right? States value sub apps way, 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 way more than Canadian schools do. Some schools don't even offer it, right? And I recently went to the university fair in Toronto last weekend, right? And I spoke with a bunch of universities, and one thing I noticed is that every school is different. There were some schools I spoke to. They don't care about any supplementary applications. They don't. All they want is grades based off your prerequisite marks and averages. And there were other schools that I spoke to who required supplementary applications. And there were schools that I also spoke to that valued it way more than other schools. For example, I'll give you an example. I spoke with the faculty of engineering and the faculty of engineering, which considered like which has computer science in it, right? And University of Waterloo, and also the faculty of engineering and University of Toronto. And then the recruits told me that right in U of T, they weigh the supplementary applications very heavily. They told me that it was a 50-50 with academics and sub apps. The reason why they said that, they said, for example, if you go through their website and you see the minimum, like the competitive grade requirements each year for the people who they accepted into the computer science programs, it varies. Some years it could be 96, other years it would be like an 89.9. And that's because they weigh their supplementary applications 50% with their grades. While when I spoke with a school like Waterloo, they told me they weighted 70-30. The academics is worth 70%, while their supplementary applications are worth 30. So meaning that even though maybe you might fall short in like by a couple percent in like a math or like a calculus or chemistry or physics, as long as you have the supplementary applications, the experience that they're looking for, and the type of like what they want to see, it could still keep you in the running and help you get that thing that you're like that program you're trying to apply for.
Thank you so much, Daniel. That was very, very educative. So it's important that you know the school you want to attend. That's what I have been able to get from this conversation so far. Know your school and their requirement. Nifemi, please go ahead.
Yeah, I think that was really informative, Daniel, honestly. And I think it's like the supplementary application is considered to be a double-edged sword. So for some schools, they weigh it so heavily that your GPA sometimes won't be the deciding factor. So some people who have like 4.0 GPAs or 90, I don't know how it works in high school, but like 97% average or 98, 99, if your supplementary application is not great, you might not get into the school, right? And then for some people who, let's say you had some struggles during high school, like you didn't really do great on that course as you wanted to, but you do amazingly well on your supplementary application, you can still get in, right? So best do great on both and try your best to do great on both. But if you know your average isn't that stellar or something's happened, have hope that if you're applying to a program with supplementary application, that might actually help and it won't be completely based on your grades. And then also just keep in mind that your grades aren't everything if you are a very like academic person, and put effort into that supplementary application.
Thank you so much, Nifemi, for that add on. I think anyone listening to this conversation would agree with us all that it's important that you know the requirements of the school that you want to attend. And knowing the requirements means that you have to do the work. You have to do your research. You have to find out. You have to make calls. You have to send emails. Your guidance counselor, as we have always mentioned during multiple of our session, are very instrumental and important tool that you have to take advantage of. Now, it takes me to my next question, and that question is, um, I know this is a case by case basis and it's going to be dependent on an individual. Is there an average of how many schools you can consider to apply to? And if it's a yes or no, what would be your suggestion? And I would want everyone to kind of chip in here. Moise, go ahead, please.
So I'd say like yeah, like you said, it kind of depends on the person. But ultimately, I'd say like you can apply to as many as you want. You should probably apply to more than you think you should, just in case. Like for me, for example, I think I applied to like 6 or 7 schools in total. I already knew which ones I wanted to go to for sure, but I just applied to as much as I could, just in case. You never know, the worst could happen. You don't. The last thing you want is like you don't get into any of your schools and then you're kind of stuck. So, you know, I'd say apply to more, like more than you think you need to.
Okay. Fikun?
So me personally, I'm thinking of applying to like 4 to like 6 different schools, right? And you should consider applying to not just like top schools, like also like have backup schools in case, you don't get that, like you don't get to the school because like their enrollment percentage might be low. Because like U of T, I think they have like a 43% rate of acceptance. So you should, have all your options out and yeah, don't just apply to like 3 schools.
Naomi?
Me personally, I think I applied to 4 or 5 schools. I it was just I wasn't fully confident on which school I did want to attend. It was either go to Ottawa or end up at York. So it was really U Ottawa, Carleton, or York. Um, I added 2 more schools just as my backup schools, but it really depends on the person and how competitive your program is. Like if you're going into something like health sci or like engineering, like that's much more competitive. So I would definitely say apply to more schools because you really never know and you don't want to be stuck in that position. But yeah.
Thank you. Daniel?
Yeah, so like what thing I would say is because I've spoken to some people, like because I'm in grade 12, right? People in my grade were considering applying, because when you apply to like using the portal, right? I think they give you 3 schools for free, with you could apply to 3 programs from each school, right? So, or something like that, right? I know it's like 3 schools that you get to apply to for free, and then a lot
I
of the
just want to
students.
clarify, it's not free. You pay like 250
Oh,
and then you get to apply for 3. Yeah,
yeah,
but
sorry, that's what I meant. And
yeah,
then it costs extra after, right? So
each
a
one
lot
is
of
like
people, yeah, 50 each or something like that after. So a lot of people at my schools have been saying that they're just gonna apply to like the 3 schools that they get with their payment, and like they're not gonna apply to anything else. But me personally, especially like what Naomi said, it depends on how competitive your program is, right? If I'm trying to go into computer science, computer engineering, like I'm trying to go into the tech field. Engineering, on especially most of the schools I'm trying to apply to, it's very and highly competitive, high averages, very high supplementary applications. So like me personally, I think I have a list of 8 to 9 schools, because I also don't have like I haven't decided, like I haven't chosen a school. Like I don't have a singular favorite school. So I also say, like, one thing you have to do is get to do your research on each school, right? Like I've been going to a lot of university fairs. I've been booking campus tours, so I can get to know these schools, because like some people, I know it's not only me. Like some people just don't know like what school they want to go to. Like I don't have a favorite school right now, so I just have a bunch of like aggressive, like very competitive schools, and then a couple like easier schools that like I know that would be like backups, in case worst comes to worst, and I'm gonna accept it to like the better schools.
Okay, so you will see I was smiling and so was Naomi laughing along with me when I had 8 to 9 schools.
8 to 9.
That's money, right? That's a lot of
I said
so Pico, I'm going to get to you. Let me quickly take Naomi now. Sorry, Nifemi. Nifemi, please go ahead.
No, I think they said it all. I would say that just in the spirit of awareness that not everybody has the financial situation to afford to apply to that many schools. I would say apply to the programs. Like I would say, like Daniel said, do your research, see what school. Don't just think about competition. I know your parents want you to go to the best school in Canada and they want you to go to the best, but think about, okay, is this going to be conducive to my life? Are you a really focused person? Can you live in a big city and still get your work done? Think about that really well. Do you need to go to a smaller university? Is the program offering you the types of courses you like? That type of thing. Do your research and then strategically select. So that $250 gives you those three schools. And like they said, have some safety schools where you've read about them, you've sussed them out. Maybe the program's not your favorite, but it's something that you'd be like, you know what, this is still something that a school that I could go to. This program is good enough. So like that 4 to 5 sweet spot is probably good. You don't in Canada you don't need to apply to 8 to 9 schools.
Thank you, Nifemi. Fickle, go ahead.
Uh-uh. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can.
Okay. I just want to say that some universities that you're applying to have, like the course you're applying for has their own fees separate from the regular or three courses uh fees. Like I know, like I just went to the OUAC account, and I saw that U of T has I think $43 extra. Like if you're applying for their like mechanical engineering, and McMaster also has like their own engineering fee as well. So it depends on the course you're applying to, and it's 156, not 200, and it's 156 right now for like three courses, and then if depending on the course you're applying to, they have extra fees as well. And also to like take go back to like the deadlines, you should definitely check your like the school's website because OUAC is just giving you like a general deadline for most of the schools. Some schools may say oh December, some may say November, so you have to be careful so you don't miss that deadline.
Thank you so much. That's very, very important. So, what I would probably sum up from what we have discussed so far regarding this particular question is probably have a folder where you would have the list of the schools you want to apply to. Then go into each school, go into their portal and that program, and look at the requirements, the deadlines, the fees, everything you need to know about the program. And that takes us back to where we started from. Do your work, do your research. The guidance counselor and the OAP website would only give you the minimum information. But if you want to know more, you want to kind of have an idea what exactly you're going to get from what you're looking for, then you have to do your work. You have to do your research. Nifemi, please go ahead.
Yeah, and I just wanted to say, like, on this topic of research, you have to kind of be careful where you're getting your sources from because a lot of things, if you go by national rankings, everything will tell you U of T is the number one school, right? But you have to be strategic because U of T is known for being quite rigorous academically. And if you want to do something postgraduate, you need a relatively high GPA to be able to get into those courses. So in for us people in healthcare and medicine, a lot of students decided not to go to U of T. Some people did, got great GPAs and got in, but it's much more difficult when it doesn't necessarily have to be that difficult. There's other schools that have great quality education, and it doesn't like require you to sacrifice yourself to get a good GPA, and you can still get into whatever postgraduate you want to do. So I would do a little bit of like, okay, yes, look at national rankings, but in Canada, some schools are better for certain programs. So Waterloo is known for its engineering. They call it the MIT of the North, right? Queens is also a pretty good engineering school. Carleton is also a pretty good engineering school. Some programs are known for the health sciences. McMaster Health Sciences is like one of the top health sciences program. Then like there's Queens and other schools also have health sciences programs, right? So a lot of things are very like program dependent. So aside from just like an overarching Google search, look at some, and I hate to say Reddit forums, but talk to some people. Talk to people who are in university already to ask them why they chose that specific program, their considerations when they were applying. You can do a quick little Reddit search, but take everything on Reddit with a grain of salt. I'm talking like a millimeter of salt, but it gives you more of the lay experiences, and then stratify your searches to be like best engineering program within something universities, you know what I mean, or comparison between this university and that university, if you just go general with your search, you might not end up picking the program that's really best for you.
Thank you so much. And before we go to the next question, we have one here. The question is, where can I find important dates? And I want to believe this question is asking in regards um, applications.
I definitely say go directly to the school's website and look at their information on that program because everything is so dependent. Like, especially in Canada, we're very program dependent for sure.
Okay. So please go to the school website. You would get valuable information regarding deadline date on the school website. Daniel?
I was going to say something that I say is very, very important that I like. I think really helped me recently is the university fair. Like the one, like the next one upcoming is next week. Next week, I think Toronto Metro Convention Center. Like I'm even thinking about going again just to ask more questions. I say you should go prepared. Like I have a notebook. I had my notes and I took a note on my phone. You know, you go prepared with questions to ask, and you have admissions. They have each direct programs, even like sub programs, like engineering. They had mechanical engineering. They had computer science. They had computer engineering. Each person with that were able to answer all these questions. If you're struggling to find your information online, I think they're going on till applications end. You have to go online, find where you could go to an Ontario University Fair, and go to one of those. Carry a book, carry your phone, just have questions ready, and go prepared and ask these questions because they have admissions at every school, so you could ask deadlines for every application. You want scholarship opportunities, the scholarship they offer, they answer that for you. You want to know co-op opportunities they offer, like they answer that for you and it opens your eyes. It lets you know like which schools like you prefer better than the other. Like for example, I could say like before last week Sunday, that's when I went. I had U Ottawa like lower on my list for schools I would like to go to. But after speaking with the people at the college fair, I mean the university fair, it kind of opened my eyes. Like for example, they're part of the Canada North Valley. It's like the second largest tech valley other to Silicon Valley. Like they have amazing co-op opportunities just for their students. Like Google, Spotify, Netflix, not only in tech, but just any other like department, even though these are just like tech companies. And I like brought them way up in my rankings for like schools I'd rather want to go to, you know? So like I'm like if you have questions and information that you can't find online, because somebody like it's not like adults, right? It's used like third year, second year. I was asking, right? Third year, second year, fourth year. Like these people have gone through what you're going through, and not like years ago. Like they've just gone through this recently, so they're able to answer all these questions for you, like very very informally. They're able to answer these questions very proper. So like that's where I would recommend like you would go if you have questions that you can't find online.
Thank you so much, Daniel. That's very, very valuable information. Go to university fairs. And I see Naomi smiling. That's my,
Oh, GG's.
that's my school. That's my school. Luis, go ahead. Pico, I'll get to you.
Oh yeah. I just wanted to add to what Daniel said. Like going to university fairs is good. You could also go like each university usually has like open houses or like tours, so you could just go on their website. They have a whole page for students applying. Usually, and you can just check when they have open houses or tours or anything. You can just attend those for the different universities you want to see. If you want to look for more a general event specifically on one university, for example.
And
Thank you
for
so much.
like in regards to like university fairs and open houses, for me, I went to the university fair. I found it extremely, although very informative, I found it extremely overwhelming. It's super busy, it's super packed. So that's why I really think open houses are also another great opportunity. Like for me, I went all the way to Ottawa and I did it. I did it. I went to Carleton, I visited U Ottawa. So it was really important for me because the conventions can be very hectic. And like if you're going, go early in the morning, like come prepared, like Daniel said for sure, because everyone is as confused as you, as lost as you, and we all have questions.
Yeah. Pico.
Just wanted to talk about the scholarships a bit. Like some schools offer, I know that Carleton offers like entrance scholarships, and then there are other scholarships you can apply for that take up a certain amount of you know certain amount of money off of your tuition. Like for example, if you get around like I think 80 to 84%, you get $1,000 off each year of your school. And to maintain that scholarship, you need to have, I think, from like an 80 to 83% in uni to maintain that scholarship. So definitely go to the admissions and then ask about the certain scholarships that you think you may be able to apply for and, have those requirements.
Thank you so much, Fico. So far, do your research, right? Go back to where we started from. Do your research, ask information, go for open house, go for the university and college fairs, go on the school website. I know also they do have admission officers or liaison officers with their email address on the website. Send an email and ask your question. I'm sure if they don't have an answer, they would direct you to the right person that would answer the question. And from what I've heard so far today, I've also um, understand that if you don't look for this information, it wouldn't come looking for you, right? And you would have access to things like how to get scholarship. I I don't know if I like it's I say it a lot because I know these are funds that are available there for people to take advantage of. So let's do the work so we can get access to these scholarships and free funds. So to get reduce the burden on yourself and on your parents as well. So thank you so much, guys. I have a very interesting question that I wanted to ask. Whoever is comfortable, taking this question should go for it. So I know that you apply to at least a minimum of three university choices, and you wait to get a response. Some people get the response earlier, and that's the acceptance response. Some people get it later. How does it feel? Are you guys willing to share? For those, I know some of you already, you've gone through it. How did you feel waiting? Sometimes you get your friend just call and say, I've gotten the acceptance, and you're still waiting, you're checking. Tell me, share your experience with us so that you can encourage, the guys that are going to put in their application this year or early next year. Go ahead. Whoever is ready to go for it, go for it.
Yeah, I can go. Again, guys, I'm aged now. Like I'm aged, so I have no clue what they're doing now. But for me, I did early admission. So there were some schools that I like, they just weren't like, they were my safety schools. So typically you'll usually get your safety schools first. And it's like, oh, okay, like I know I'm going to university at least, you know what I mean? So you have one school, other school. Sometimes it'd be fun to see how much money they give you. Like U of T gave me $7,000. I was like, oh my gosh, like wow, this is great, you know? But for me, what was hard was my top two schools didn't come out till May. So I had some schools that were giving me offers like, December, early January, like, you know what I mean? But the two schools I wanted did not come out till May. And that was hard. But the thing is, they don't do rolling admissions. Like the programs I applied to in McMaster Health Sciences, Queen Health Sciences, they don't do rolling admissions. So everybody was waiting. So it was fine, honestly. It's different because other schools will do rolling. And if you see your friends get in, you know what I mean? But it was hard because I think I got my acceptance to Queens like May 4th or something like that. And my friend got it like the day before. So she texted me and was like, "Oh my gosh, I got into Queens." And I was like, what if they don't accept me? You know what I mean? And then I got it like the next day. But then what was also hard was McMaster Health Sciences. She like they don't tell you when it's gonna happen. So all of a sudden she just texted me. She's like, my people are getting offers. So I run upstairs, check the portal. I didn't get in. And she got in. So that was like, what just happened? You know what I mean? But McMaster Health Sciences is notorious for that. It's like a 1% acceptance rate. It's crazy. But yeah, that was my experience.
Thank you for sharing. Thank you. Because the reason I asked this question is I participate in my son's parent council association, and each time we go and you see parents saying, "Oh my God, she hasn't gotten the offer yet. She's so agitated. He's not happy. He's waiting. The friend just got him." looking at what they're, discussing and going through, and I'm thinking in my head, okay, I'm going to be in this position very soon. How am I going to cope? Naomi, you wanted to share your experience.
Yeah, as someone who recently experienced it, I guess. I think at first, like when the email, okay, they will gaslight you with these emails. They will actually pump fake you. Like the subject lines of these emails will actually have you opening these emails thinking, "Oh my gosh, I got it!" Like no, they're talking about, "Oh, sign up for a campus tour." So like, be very like when you're opening your emails, just take a deep breath, relax. Most of the time, they send you an email saying they have made a decision. So you don't even like you still have to go open your portal and check. Like it's not even an email saying you got in. Like no. So that was a big thing, and I was kind of like, okay. But when you do see you get in, it's definitely like a huge, especially like the first school. If it's not like one of your safer schools, like it's like, oh my gosh, like yes, I'm going to school. Thank God. But it's definitely a great feeling for sure.
Thanks for sharing, Luis.
I want to say my experience was actually a lot like Nifemi's. I got like a lot of my like I guess lower schools in my list. I got like that they came in first, and it was like nice to be like, okay, I got into at least one school, you know. And then like my top schools came much later. Um, yeah, like I think my top two were McMaster and Waterloo. My McMaster one came in first, and I got that. I was really happy, you know. And then my Waterloo came in like really late. I didn't get that one, but the one I think the program I applied to was a bit tough, but it was still like it's a long wait, or it feels super long. And then when it eventually do comes in, it's like it's really nerve wracking. But yeah.
I know, I know. Thank you for sharing, Daniel. And Pika, I'll get to you.
So I was gonna say I have a question for Muiz and Nifemi. So when you guys talking about how you guys got some early applications like November, I mean like December, January, right? But like your dream schools, like the schools not dream, like the schools like your top schools you guys wanted to get into, like they came out May. I don't know because I know like I don't know if this is like true. Like how does it work? Is it like if you got accepted into like those schools, they have like a deadline for you to enter, like say yes or no, or like you could wait till like May and June when your applications? Because like if not, then like it's like I don't know, that would like mess with my head. Like high risk. Like what if I say no to this school and like the schools I really want to get into come out in May and it's a no, but I've said no to like all the other. Like how does that work?
So I think there's, and again, guys, correct me if I'm wrong. I'm sorry. Like it's been a while, but I don't think they can give you like a staggered deadline. I think they have to wait to the latest point. Like you have a firm deadline to send in your responses. So they can't say, oh, respond by January. Meanwhile, you haven't even received offers until May. No. I think that the deadline is like June. Sometimes you have until June, whatever, to accept or reject a specific offer. That's it. So you're not forced to like juggle, oh, which school do I want to do? Correct me if I'm wrong, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was Do you want to go?
No, it's all right.
I was just gonna say, I remember for me it was like I literally had a friend who ended up switching after submitting hers. Like she picked Mac and she switched to Laurier. So she was doing like this whole email back and forth thing. So like at the end of the day, like nothing is ever final. Like you can always contact someone to make changes. Like there's always ways around things. Like if you just have to be able to and willing to take that next step of communication. And also, yeah, like Bifemi said, like the deadline date that they're talking about, it's a universal date. It's usually you'll see it on OUAC and you'll get a bunch of emails saying like, "Oh, you're running out of time. You're running out of time." And I remember it being after graduation. Like it's pretty late. So
Oh, that's good to know.
yeah.
Moise?
Well, yeah, both Nifemi and Naomi are right. Like, I appreciate once they give you the acceptance letter, there's like very few situations where they can take that away from you. So, like, yeah, you have like until like basically after grade 12, like June, almost summer, I believe it is. So you don't I don't think you need to worry about. I'd wait until you get all your, or at least most of your most information back from universities.
Mhm.
I don't think you need to worry.
Daniel, I hope that answers your question. Okay, thank you. So thank you, guys. I have just one more question, then we'll round up this session. It's been a very informative, educative, even for me as a parent. I've learned so much from you guys today. So my question is, um, so we all agree that you have to research and apply to schools individually, right? Even though you do it through one portal. Do you have is there a way you can kind of have an idea what um, how do I explain this now? What subjects or courses each schools will require, or which each program you're applying to will require you to have a better grade in to kind of give you a better chance of getting into the program? Is there a way you're able to? So let's assume I want to apply to law, right? And I'm going to University of Ottawa. How do I know what I need in terms of my grades to be able to have a better chance of getting into the law program? Fikun.
Just going back to mentioning the college or university fairs. That's where you ask, like you go to, because there's people based on your program and whatever you're going to apply for. So you go to them and ask them. You usually have some schools look at the average, like the total average of the 6 courses you enter, and some schools, I think like Waterloo, I'm not sure, but they check specific grades. It's not based on like your whole average, because Carlton does based on your whole average, and then some other schools are like, no, we're looking at specific courses that, like your grades and specific courses to see if you apply, like if you had the requirements to apply for the course.
Okay, thank you. Nifemi.
Yeah, so I think are you asking about like first things after, like after undergrad? Like what do I have to do in undergrad if I want to do
No,
law?
no, I'm asking. Okay, so when I mentioned law, I now I understand that you have to do a program before. So I'm just using my. So let's assume it's not law; it's any other program that I'm applying to, right? Let's say I'm applying to accounting, right? Do I need a specific to have an average in specific courses or classes that I did in high school in order to qualify to apply
Yeah.
or meet
Okay.
the requirement for accounting? Or it's just any program I do in high school, I'm good as long as I have a particular class average?
No, again, guys, correct me if I'm wrong, but when I was applying, it was top six. So some programs have specific courses that they have prerequisites for. So I think for me, it was like you needed to have done bio, you need to have done calculus and vectors, you needed to English, and English is a requirement for all schools. You need to have an English one. So your top six, it will be their prerequisites that they want, plus whichever ones you choose. So if you did really great in French, like toss that in there, that increases your top six average. This is my memory, I might be wrong, but I know at the bare minimum, there are prerequisite courses that they will look at, and they will look at your mark in, that you have to have done in order to even be eligible to apply to that program. So it's really important that if you're thinking like, hey, like I want to do accounting and you're in grade 10, Google accounting program in universities or accounting prerequisites. Look at a few of the schools. Some schools might say, oh, you need calc. Other schools might say, no, you don't need calc. You know what, that type of thing. So make sure you at least look at multiple schools and look at their offerings. And then you can make sure to strategically select your courses. Because in order to do calculus and vectors, you need to have done advanced functions. And that means you need to have done functions, right? So grade 11 functions you do, but grade advanced functions and calculus are both grade 12. So you need to make sure that you take advanced functions and then you take calculus and vectors. So it's really important that you start at the university page, look at what they need, and work backwards and select your courses from there.
Thank you so much. That answers my question. But I see Daniel. So Daniel, go ahead, then I'll call Fiko and Naomi.
Yeah, I was gonna say she pretty much said it. So pretty much, I guess it also depends on some schools, which I did just find out, like what Fiku said at the on university fair, right? But they take they have a required classes plus top six classes, like university or mixed class average, right? So for me, most computer science engineering schools require calc, English, advanced functions, chemistry, physics, and then usually you get like one class to add to that to give you your top six average. But then there are also some schools like Waterloo, which instead of taking your top six averages, they rather just look at the schools the classes they require, and that's it. like if you wanted to apply to Waterloo's computer science, they would only look at the classes that they require, and then like ICU, which is Introduction to Computer Science, grade 11, and Introduction to Computer Science, grade 12. Some schools don't take a top six. That's why I say it's important to do your research. A lot of schools will display a top, like will display the mandatory classes and plus top six, but you always want to focus. So that's why if like it's always better for you to decide what you're going into, grade 10. So you're taking these prerequisite classes, grade 11 and 12. And if you don't know, like there's some people at my school who don't know what they want to do in the future, right? So instead of doing, they just feel like they take everything. So they're taking all three sciences: bio, chem, physics. They're taking calculus, advanced functions, data. They're not like they're just filling all the classes. Like it's always good to do your research before. And if you don't know, just take like the things that you know they would need, like English, your three sciences, the three maths, everything.
Thank you, Daniel. Naomi?
Yeah, so basically what Daniel just said was pretty accurate because with that, I like for me, like grade 11, if you had asked me, I was going into health science. So as you can see, there was a significant change there. And it was like I wasn't completely confident, but I knew that I did want to have the option. So I took my bio, I took my chem. I think I even took physics in grade 10. Like I just took everything. And then by grade 12, I kind of got to figure it out. But for me, like for political science, my only prerequisite was English. So it was pretty simple for me. And I just knew I had to do, like, I had to go above and beyond for English, especially. English is always going to be a prerequisite, as previously mentioned. And with your, like, program, like, it'll usually say, like, oh, you need a minimum, like, it'll tell you the prerequisite, but it'll also tell you the minimum grade you need in that prerequisite. Like, they might say, like, oh, you need a minimum 75 in calculus or and obviously just because it says a minimum 75, like don't aim for a 75, but you know what I mean, like yeah, just to be eligible to apply.
Thanks. Pika?
I want to say two things. So first, if you're in grade 10, you should definitely start looking at, courses that you may want to apply in grade 12 because by grade 11, you may not have that time. Because if you don't take a grade 11 prerequisite, you can't, you're not able to take the grade 12 one. And second thing is that, because I know most schools use Zello to like share information about like university and like the requirements you need. I would say don't check it because I don't think it's updated anymore. Like because I was looking at some other schools with like, oh, you need like a 75 minimum, and then come grade 11, I'm checking like the school's website, and it's like you need an 85. So you need to be careful what sources you're looking at and make sure they're up to date.
Thank you. Thank you so, so much. And I think that's it. Thank you so much once again, guys, for being here. I'm always excited and so privileged to have you guys spend your time, your energy just to give back to the society. And I really appreciate you guys for all you do. Thank you so much for everyone that has joined us and those that would look or watch this video later on. We hope we've been able to kind of provide some information that is useful to the high schoolers and their parents that are really confused about the Canadian school system, especially for kids that are going into the university and colleges. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. And thank you so much, my amazing ambassadors. I love you guys dearly. And that's it for today. We will be having another session sometime soon. You would see the flyer as well. Thank you, everyone, and do have a good rest of your day. Bye.